The implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office.
Number one loser, you know who it is? Barack Obama. Do you know why? Because his voice doesn't carry weight anymore. He was out there begging, screaming, scolding, everything he did. He no longer carries that weight. Imagine Barack Obama every day he goes to sleep. He remembers that one dinner that he's talking to Trump, saying you'll never be president, when he did the, angry tweets and all this stuff on Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and he reads the Trump tweet at him, talking about him. He says, at least you'll never be a president, drops the mic.
He was celebrated as the beacon of optimism, the smooth-talking hero vowing to unite and revolutionize. Fans adored his addresses, the press pushed the legend, and the globe embraced the persona. But Patrick Bet-David and Tulsi Gabbard aren't convinced. They slice through the shiny exterior, uncovering what Barack Obama genuinely left: international turmoil, allegiance to Wall Street, and a heritage crafted on appearance rather than depth. The fantasy dissolves quickly when reality steps into the spotlight.
But think, you're Obama, okay? First go from the Obama's lens. Obamas are sitting there having to hear people compare Kamala to Obama.
Right.
Do you know what that does to Obama? Do you know Obama is sitting there saying, shut the, that's what Obama's saying internally, right?
Director Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week.
If you're loving this, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Barack Obama strutted like he'd claimed a permanent spot in history's elite club. Sharp suit, mellow voice, that signature pause before every few words, as if unveiling a gospel instead of another empty pledge of progress and renewal. For years, folks saw him as the wise ruler of politics, a prodigy whose mere presence was meant to scrub Washington's murky mess. But when Patrick Bet-David and Tulsi Gabbard start lifting the curtain, the dream crumbles faster than his NCAA bracket guesses.
The one thing I wanted to show is the following. So you know how you talked about Jerome Powell, what an easy job. You come once a month and he said we're going to increase the rates.
Greatest job there
I
is.
think this is the one thing they don't talk about. So Barack Obama got elected November 4th. Okay, quantitative easing started November 26th.
Right.
And it stayed for 8 years until you got elected. So if you look at that low, pretty much 0% interest rate,
Right.
and then you get elected, right? If you go to January 2016, Rob, for the audience to see that. And then from there, one by one, rates are going up. And then Biden comes in, goes back down to 0 to try to save the economy. And then, the rest is obviously history.
Right.
But do you think the average person knows, like, the impact of going to 0%?
Beneath the gleam hides a guy who pitched himself as a savior, but performed like a lackluster hawker trying to offload a clunker with a faulty engine. Patrick Bet-David labels him a product, not a guide, a living ad campaign draped in lofty words. Obama wasn't a trailblazer. He was Apple's product reveal in flesh, flashy vows. But unpack it and you're stuck with bugs, stalled screens, and dead cables. He turned into the political iPhone debut, with eager crowds queuing for inspiration, only to get the same old flaws.
Tom, what is the process of Nobel Prize? If he's able to do that, who nominates? Because most of the Nobel winners are on the left.
Nobel Prizes, you can go look this up, are given to an arcane nomination process, and they go into a back room and they decide who they're going to give it to. And the Nobel Peace Prize is basically a political football. You look around the world at people that have really caused peace, and you have Obama made a couple speeches as soon as he was inaugurated in '09. Oh my goodness, we give it to for fostering an environment of peace.
Tulsi Gabbard goes harder, pointing out Obama didn't just toss out hollow catchphrases. He masked some of the most insider-friendly moves in progressive rapping. He ran on stopping conflicts, but ramped up drone attacks like a delivery service for bombs. He swore to be open, but oversaw a team that went after more whistleblowers than ever before. Obama didn't break the military-industrial grip. He slapped on a green coat and called it a revolution you could trust.
capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council, and President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election.
Oddly, he's still revered like a holy figure, a man who built his name on charm while silently rescuing Wall Street, leaving regular Americans choking for help. Patrick Bet-David won't ignore it, breaking down how yes, we can shifted to yes, Goldman can, bolstering the very banks that sank the economy in 2008. Everyday folks lost houses, savings, and jobs while his donor roster ballooned like a holiday feast. Optimism didn't flow down. Executive perks did.
Michelle and I couldn't be proud to endorse you, to do everything we can to get you through this election and to the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. The words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express.
We're gonna have some
Thank
fun.
You both.
Say it.
It means so much. And we're gonna have some fun with this too.
Sure.
So obviously, she's not a professional actress.
Tulsi tears apart the anti-war Nobel Peace Prize fairy tale, awarded like a consolation prize before he even settled into the Oval Office. What came next? Heightened clashes, drone strikes turning civilians into mere numbers, and a Middle East shakier after his term than before. She notes how he turned military action into a sterile, slideshow affair, fewer troops, more joystick warfare, making death feel like a briefing. Patrick Bet-David cuts through, comparing Obama to a Netflix preview with uplifting tunes, luring you into dull episodes stuffed with unkept vows. Peel off the gloss, and his legacy is less a golden era, more a shrewdly wrapped average.
After President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president commander-in-chief of the United States.
Tulsi reveals how his impact birthed the divisive politics America wades in today. He preached unity, but fed on quiet splits, locking identity politics into Washington's core. People became data points, not neighbors, half-wise, half-outdated relics. That smug moral high ground sparked the pushback that made Trump's presidency unavoidable. Every step was about looks, dribbling on the court, crooning Al Green, trending talks. But leadership was an afterthought. Obama was less a military head, more a social media star, always polishing his highlight reel over mending the system.
Evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact. The implications of this are far-reaching and have to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. It has to do with an outgoing president taking action to manufacture intelligence to undermine and usurp the will of the American people in that election and launch what would be a years-long coup against the incoming president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Tulsi shows how that focus on image cost real progress. Under Obama, foreign policy wasn't a plan, it was a performance. Libya's humanitarian move ended in disorder, slave trades, and an extremist haven. Syria unraveled with timid steps, red lines vanishing like mist. He brought confusion, disguised as care, leaving the world less secure while his words kept the crowd cheering like puppets. Patrick Bet-David dismantles the economic tale too. The gig world exploded, paycheck stalled, corporate gain soared. But Main Street fixed its own cracks. Obama wasn't the working folks champion. He was global boardrooms hype man, perfecting a flow-up economy, with public funds rising, scraps falling.
That was an inconvenient truth. The president's Daily Brief article was pulled. It has never been published until we released it about a week and a half ago. Instead, this new intelligence assessment was ordered by President Obama that contradicted directly every other intelligence assessment that had been published prior to the election, as well as assessments that had been pushed forward after the election.
Tulsi uncovers the hypocrisy in his progressive mask. He pushed climate awareness, yet saw fracking and oil output spike. He vowed openness, but monitored reporters and watched citizens like a nervous housemate. He claimed to lift people, but left them reliant on a system serving only the top. His time in office was a lesson in contradictions, preaching virtue while pocketing cash from the industries he feigned to curb. Bet-David and Gabbard chuckle at the grassroots hero now toasting with Silicon Valley tycoons, inking deals to shape his own story.
Foreign policy related, and it was related to the fact that I had the audacity to go against them, to challenge the elite of the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and it's the people who surround them in the military-industrial complex, in the media-industrial complex, those who are pushing, and it's not limited to the Democratic Party.
Obama's etched in memory more for show than substance. That's why Patrick carves through the myth with razor focus. Show can be polished, practiced, and repackaged, but outcomes are ironclad. A split nation, a shaky globe, a political scene fixated on branding over impact. Strip the talks, and he's a charmer flunking the depth test. Bet-David unravels the product. Tulsi unmasks the deceit, together proving his so-called heritage is more trickery than truth. The reality's harsh but freeing. He didn't just let down fans. He schooled a generation that politics is a stage, words outrank deeds, and looks trump responsibility. That's his true mark, torn apart by Bet-David and Gabbard until the fantasy's in ruins.
I'm going to go to the next topic here, which is Adam's top topic, talking about Obama saying every man needs a gay friend. So Obama goes
Barack, call me, buddy. Call
on
me.
his wife's podcast, okay? And they're sitting there having this conversation, and it opens, they covered a lot of different things. Right off the bat, they talked about the divorce. Hey, aren't we supposed to be getting a divorce and all this stuff?
The Affordable Care Act, his domestic jewel, looks shaky once Bet-David and Gabbard dig in. Pitched as a giant leap, it turned into a bureaucratic tangle. Millions still uncovered, costs soaring. Small businesses gasping under mandates they couldn't handle. It catered to insurance titans, not the relief promised public. Obama paraded like he remade healthcare, but delivered a clumsy deal, a government-backed promo for private firms. Patrick notes it's less a fix, more a visual. Hypocrisy glaring as the people's hero left them with steeper bills and fewer options while touting his name.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point. At real Donald Trump. At real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
Obama has to eat his words for the rest of his life. It's gotta suck. The number one loser of 2024 election.
Then there's the Iran nuclear deal, praised as brilliant diplomacy by fans, but flawed under scrutiny. Patrick Bet-David calls it a stage play to polish Obama's global shine. The great peacemaker halting war with a pen and grin. Yet it was weak, short-lived, slammed for boosting Iran. Billions freed, influence grew. Allies felt stabbed. Tulsi exposes the surface-level win, noting true leadership demands lasting fixes, not quick press shots for European praise. She flags Obama's hand in nudging Biden's nomination to block outsiders like Bernie, proving he was the machine despite anti-trickery claims, pulling strings while posing above the muck.
Just tell me if this seems like they woke up together in the same bed this morning, the last week, the last month, the last 90 days, or if they live in two different places. Just watch this real quick. Go ahead, Rob.
Wait, you guys like each other?
Oh, yeah, really, huh? The rumor mill.
Yeah, slap that hand.
Husband, y'all.
Patrick reminds us this is the Wall Street critic now cashing banker-hosted talks. Obama didn't clear swamps. He turned them into private greens. His post office life is a non-stop money grab dressed as deep thought, Netflix deals, memoirs, luxury gigs, politics Tony Robbins, cashing in while followers grapple with hope's hollow echo. Tulsi slices through his global leader image. The world saw waffling as wisdom. Patrick drives the final point. Obama's less a president of deeds, more a politician of feelings. History doesn't cheer speeches, it tallies results. When the charisma dims, the truth's inescapable.